Hi, welcome to Just Common Sense. My name's Brian Harrison, and I have Jose and I have Jerry here today. We're going to be talking about a lot. I also asked some people to call in. Let's see if they do that or not. If they don't, I'm going to call them weak conservatives right to their faces right here. You're a weak conservative if you don't call in tonight. So, guys, let's talk about what's going on. First of all, we're going to go into COVID. We talked about this last night. I wanted to go break this down. Look. There are a lot of things going on with COVID right now, and it's a lot of BS. I'm just going to say it. A lot of BS. Guess what? Let's talk about Fauci. First of all, Fauci is making money. He makes money off the Moderna and off the Pfizer vaccine. That's why you don't hear a lot about the JJ, because guess what? I've spoken to many doctors. I've spoken to many nurses. I've actually had a nurse that pulled me aside and was whispering to me because she was telling me how this really is out there. And she's saying, this is not that high in the hospitals. The news is lying. They're lying their butts off. And that's what's going on. They want to go ahead. They want to start putting masks on everybody again because that's called control. Like I said in many of my shows, they're baby steps. They take a step, a step, a step. And that's where they want to go with this. They want to continue doing this. And guess what, guys? No more. No more at all. We need to go ahead. We need to fight back against this. This cannot be done. We are Americans. And guess what? You radical left, you finally woke up the lions, and now we're pissed. We are pissed off about it. Guess what? 2022, you're out. You are gone. That's it. We're taking over the House. We're taking over the Senate, and we're going to get the presidency. It's over for you guys. You guys have gotten too stupid with this, and you're trying to control the world. Guess what? Not happening. We're all tired of it. So anyway, I've got some things I'm going to go over in a little bit. I've got breakdowns of how the hospital's really set up, which this is what the news media is not talking about. They're actually not showing you how low these cases really are. I actually have the breakdowns. I have how many people are in the hospitals, the numbers and everything else, what's going on. This new Delta variant, BS. It's out there. We know it. I'll say it. It is out there and we know it. Sure. It has killed a few people. So does the flu. This new variant is not as dangerous, but it spreads faster. I get that. There are viruses out there that do that. Guys, I'm not saying not to take the vaccine. It's totally up to you. But again, if anybody chooses in this country not to take the vaccine, that is their right. That is their right to do that. If an employer tells you, I want to see your vaccine card, guess what? It's the United States of America. You shouldn't have to show any vaccine card. That is between you and your family. What, you know, where you want to go with this. You do not have to show this. I'm going to say it. But that being said, there's people out there asking for it. And again, I am not for that. But anyway, we're going to break this down. We're going to go over to Jerry. He had a few things he wanted to talk about tonight. I'll go into the numbers in a little bit. And then we're going to also talk about this whole garbage going on with Pelosi up there, especially with January 6th. Pelosi, come up with something new. You're using this. You guys are using COVID. That's all you're doing. You're using this for political gain, and that's it. That's it. You've been caught in your lies. Pelosi, I'm going to call you out again. You're so worried about this virus. You were actually in a salon without a mask on, endangering people in that salon last year when COVID was at its highest because of your arrogantness of being in that salon to try to look pretty. Give me a break. First of all, you might as well go get a plastic surgery. You need a lot more work done. You've had plenty done. Trust me, we all can see it. You're 81 years old. Retire. It's time. Okay? Anyway, go on, Jerry. Sorry.
No, not a problem. I was just sitting back here
I'm fired
laughing.
up.
I agreed with everything you said. So, no, I just wanted to throw a couple of questions out in regards to COVID. For one thing, you know, we're talking about, the new Delta variant. Now I'm hearing about the new Lambda variant down in South America. And so it's like, there's all these new variants that are coming out. And so they're talking about
Zebra's next.
Yeah, really. They're talking about remasking. They're talking about mandating vaccines and everything. But, I have a question for all the folks out there, and that's...
And I'm sorry, guys, to interrupt. I just want to be ready here. Hold on a second.
Oh, there,
Yeah, sorry.
there you go.
Go ahead.
He's just trying to cover the beard so that Brian doesn't cut it off.
Yeah, I know. I've already threatened him tonight with that.
I will wear it too.
He needs to shave. Achman the terrorist here needs to shave his beard off.
No, it won't happen.
But seriously, though, if this
right.
pandemic is so serious, I was watching some of the January 6th hearing today on television. And one of the things that I noticed is that Nancy Pelosi and many of her comrades there on the left were not wearing masks in this January 6th
Saw that.
Exactly.
hearing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, for one, if the COVID vaccine or the COVID virus is so deadly and this new Delta strain is so virulent, and then why are they even holding these hearings? They should be doing them by Zoom, not in the House floor. And the other thing is they weren't even wearing any masks. But however, if you did watch a little bit, you probably saw Adam Kinzinger crying. Okay. And, you probably saw his polling numbers for his next election, but you saw him crying, and it's like, well, that wouldn't come across as well if he was wearing a mask because you won't see it run down his cheek.
Larry Zevis.
Guys, hold on. I got somebody calling in that probably wants to be on the show. Larry Zevis. Hold on one second. Hey, Larry, you there? Hold on. Let me get him on. Hold on. Larry, you there?
No. I'm here.
You are on the show right now. So,
okay.
You want to just sit there and listen? I got Jerry talking about what's going on right now. We're talking about COVID. We'll go ahead and talk about this. Hear what Jerry says. You can hear what he says because we're all in here in the studio right now.
I'm listening.
There was another thing that, another thing that really concerns me is with the validity of the COVID variants and the strains and how dangerous they're saying it is. If COVID-19 is still so deadly, why are we allowing unvaccinated people across our southern border?
Exactly.
And then sending them all over the U.S. without having them become vaccinated. And I was looking at a statistic last night that fully 1/3 of people coming across our southern border that are being apprehended by the Border Patrol are refusing the vaccine. So if 1/3 are refusing, those are just the ones that have been apprehended.
And they're putting them in hotels, by the way.
Exactly.
They're putting them in hotel rooms.
And they're putting them on buses and planes. And so, so we're letting all these people in. Those are just the ones that have been apprehended. That's not including the ones that got through that, nobody caught up with. And, one of the things that I'm quite concerned with is a lot of this is a distraction. Brian, you kind of mentioned some of that earlier. And what I mean by distraction is, while they're out there telling us how dangerous COVID is and how we might have to remask and we're going to mandate vaccines for federal employees and things like that, they're ramrodding through things like this so-called infrastructure bill that most of which isn't even really infrastructure. And, at the same time, they're putting through, special interest, payments in there, and they're putting in restrictive gun laws and things that normally wouldn't get by. So it's like the old where you hold a shiny thing up to keep somebody's attention while you're picking their pocket because they're looking at the shiny thing. And that's what Congress is doing to us right now. They're, basically, COVID, and mask, vaccine. And then what they're trying to do is they're trying to basically pass things that would normally not get passed, if we weren't distracted by something else.
Yeah, no, I get that. And then Nancy Pelosi herself sitting there, and she's finding everybody that's not wearing a mask. I'm hearing a banging going on.
Yeah.
Who's just something going on, Larry? If you're banging something on the phone, just hold on. Don't.
It's our dog chewing on a bottle. I took it away. So.
Wait till we're here.
He's got to put a mask on his dog. No.
Double mask.
So, double mask. It's triple mask now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So anyway, Nancy Pelosi's up there, and she's actually talking about, she's been fining everybody, saying, we're going to fine anybody that doesn't wear a mask in the house. She loves the control, and that's what it's about. And now all of a sudden, she's pushing everybody. Now they're going to pass where they all have to wear a mask again in the house. Look, guys, this variant is so low. I'm going to put my glasses on here. First of all, let's talk about COVID cases. If we go back in January of 24, 21, COVID cases were, not that, they were so-so, not that bad. You go further back, though, hold on one second. I'm going through my graphs here. We're looking at, let's see, got to go through this. I took so many graphs here of this. Deaths, let's go into that too. Rates per population, 100,000 population, and right around last year, things were up super high. Right now, things are really, really low, they're saying. So they're showing that. Also, the death rate is very low right now out there on this variant. Very low. So I've got these graphics. I'll get them out there and show you guys. We'll do that. And
by the way, I want to bring something here. It is lower on the unvaccinated.
yeah, there's this thing, by the way, that he's talking about, and we've seen it. It's actually out there in, if you go over and look in Europe right now, they're having higher rates on people that are vaccinated, saying that they got COVID, and with people that are not as vaccinated. So this whole thing's really weird. You go, the United States says one thing, Europe says another. It throws me way off, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to confuse all of us. Larry, I know you called in. What do you got to say? I know you got some things you say. I know Larry's always fired up. So, any ideas here, Larry?
Well,
and Larry's
it's good.
Go ahead.
It's good to hear from you fellows. Thanks for having me on the show, Brian. You and I go way back, and Jerry, you and I had some Facebook comments way back, and I'd listened to you talk to Brian. I'm way behind. I just kind of chimed in. I can only tell you that as a guy who pays his taxes, obeys the law, does what he's supposed to do in life, I just see things that are so unacceptable. It's Marxism. It's absolute Marxism.
I agree.
We're talking about COVID tonight. Gentlemen, I can tell you that I had COVID. I caught it in the first week of March, and it was no fun. I never had a fear of dying. I had a brick on my chest for 5 days. Oh my God, it was absolutely terrible. But to this day, I have talked to a couple of doctors who have looked at me, looked at my wife, and they have told me, you don't have to wear a mask. You had that virus. Your antibodies are now stronger than anyone out there who has not had COVID and has gotten a shot. So when I turn on the TV after working my butt off all day long, and I see this nonsense about this variant, and I see a little blip on a graph that basically means nothing, and then I see this shell of a president with a crayon in his hand, making these executive orders, as Jerry, as you say, they're putting something really shining in front of the dummies out there who don't pay attention like we do, so they can sneak all this stuff in. You're going to tell me that you're going to put a mask on a kid in kindergarten?
No.
Do you know what that would do to a child psychologically? Can you guys think back to your childhood as you grew, as you changed, as you asked your parents for advice and they gave it to you? Imagine going everywhere with half of your face covered.
That's
this,
criminal.
to me, this is Marxism.
Yep.
It is nothing more than Marxism. I despise Pelosi. I saw last night on TV, you've got 500 riots last summer with this Black Lives Matter and these spindly armed Antifa pukes who think they're anti-fascist. They are the fascists.
That's
Exactly.
correct.
And you're going to tell me that all of that's going to be ignored, but Adam Schiff and that other Kinzinger guy, they're going to do crocodile tears over an event that occurred on January the 6th, whereby our president, our real president, offered 10,000 National Guardsmen, and they all turned it down. I want to see Pelosi on the stand. I want to see her testify. What did you know? I want to see what McGoogle, Mitch McConnell, I want to see him testify. What did you know? Because I sure as hell know. They knew more than we did. And that's why they did what they did.
Larry,
and I've heard stories, huh?
Go ahead. Larry, I brought this up the other night, and you're absolutely right on this. Look, when it gets down to it, the House is in charge of what happened there.
Yes.
Nancy Pelosi is fully responsible for this. She is the one that should be sitting in this stand right now being grilled for what happened. What happened was the guard at arms sat there begging, hey, I need the National Guard here. They weren't listening. They were not listening. This is a fact. 6 times they asked. I got this. It is a fact. And she didn't respond. Nobody responded. Matter of fact, I had friends there. They were in separate places. They don't even know each other. They told me when the guards walked out, they opened the gates and left the gates open. Now, again, why? Why did this happen? I'm not going to get into all the conspiracy theories because I don't want that on my show, but you guys can read through the lines, I'm sure. So you're right on this, Larry. Go ahead, Larry. I'm sorry. Just wanted to go into
Well,
that.
no, it's just, I'm glad I got, I called in because I heard you guys talking about the COVID and I heard you talking about this event, and there's just so much that has been racing through my mind. Last summer we were shut down twice, and look what's happening, guys. In Toyota, where you and I both work, Brian, you had 350 cars at one point?
Yeah, we're down
23?
probably 23? Something like that. Yeah, low on cars.
The business that I'm in, I've got more people who want to buy than I have product to offer. Anything, furniture, boats, cars, trucks, anything you want, you can't get it. And this is part of the Marxist regime to shut down America.
I want to bring
and they
something
shut
up
this
here.
country. They shut this country down last summer, and they want to do it again.
Yeah, they do. And then Jose wants to say something. Give it 1 second, and let's hear from Jose. Yes.
I was talking yesterday to a friend of mine in Venezuela, and she's seeing everything that's happening right now. And she told me, Jose, what is happening in America is what happened here in Venezuela back in 2001, 2002, 2003. The inflation was off the roof. Used cars right now, they're 45 to 50% up in price. Now, if you want to buy a used car, let's say a 2019 Camry that I trade, right? That car, I saw it listed on the dealership that I bought it from, used higher than a new car. Everything is off the roof. So what is going to happen to America if we continue doing this? It's nonsense. We're going to bankrupt the whole country. And not only that, the entire planet depends on the economy of this country. So what is going to happen here? All this nonsense have to stop, right? And they've been using this COVID to politicize the whole thing, and it's bankrupting America. It's ridiculous what's happening right now.
Well, Jose, let's not forget too that Obama has actually said that he wants a one world government.
Oh,
he's actually vocalized that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not inferred; he's actually said it. And so with that, if we bankrupt America, that's one of the first steps. And like Brian has mentioned, they're just taking one step at a time. And that's going to be one of the first steps is to destabilize the economy of this country. And then everybody has to, jump up and say, oh, well, gosh, what are we going to do now? And it's like, oh, well, we should probably come up with a commission or a panel or, that's what they'll call it at first, a commission or a panel. They won't call it a government. And then pretty soon that commission or panel is going to be making decisions that they shouldn't be making. And next thing you know, we will be under a one world government. And it goes back to the old story of how do you capture wild pigs? Well, you put a little bit of corn on the ground and the pigs come and eat the corn. And then after about a week of that, then you put one section of fence up. And then they come back and they get used to that one section. And you put a second section up, then a third. And then you put a gate. And then pretty soon they come in and they walk right into the pen and they start eating the corn. You just shut the gate. And it's just that one step at a time, and that's we're in the early steps right now, and that's why we have to stop things now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
It needs to stop, and actually, I do have the numbers right here. January 24th of 21, the numbers were the death toll. Actually, sorry, January 9th of 21, death toll was right hitting around 5,000 off this virus. Right now, it is down below 500. And that's where it is. That's the true things they don't want you to see out there. This is actually the graph that I have, and I'll get it out there to you guys. Look, this is absolutely crazy. It is control, and it's not going to happen. Larry, you weren't here when I talked about it a minute ago. I said they have finally woken up the lions. We are finally awake, and we are not going to take any of the BS from the radical left. We are done with it. We need to get them out. 2022, they are out. They're gone. That's it. Vote them out. And if they try to cheat this vote, they're going to be caught. I'm telling you, this is over with. And they're not going to be looked at the same. They did all the wrong things here. Adam Schiff, let's talk about that crazy whatever. I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to say the words, but I try
You
not
almost
to.
lost your license there, bro.
I have a rule. I try not to say anything bad on my show, and I've been very good.
Have some water. Have some water.
It could be worse with what I want to say about Pelosi, but that's another story. But like I said,
guys,
go ahead.
if I may, the last 10 to 12 years, I have become a lover of the history of this country. I picked up a book that my brother had referred to me, and I have since read books of Washington, A Life, Alexander Hamilton, Grant, stories of your dad, Brian, Fox Company in Korea.
Yep, he's got
the
a book
Washington book. Yeah, the Washington book, the Hamilton book, the Grant book. These are 1,200 pages long. And when you read these books and when you finish these books, you feel like you lost a friend. And when you start to really appreciate the history of this country, you realize how young it is. And you start busting the time of this since our independence into 50-year increments. And 50 years goes like that. And we had Stalin, we had Hitler, and history does repeat itself. Now, back in the era of Washington, it was almost like some of the battles that he had with the Haitians and England, it was almost like a divine intervention. How could this guy have won? But he did. I believe, to a degree, evil cannot triumph over good. So we talk about this stuff and how crazy it is and what is happening. There are a lot of sheep out there. And one of the things that I was talking to my brother about the Democrat, you and I, all of us here, we true Americans, we love our freedom. We love our liberty. The Democrat, to a degree, they seem to be baited to the point where they want to be led. They want to sit in mom's basement. They want the free paycheck. That is not what true America is about. And if history is going to repeat itself, this is not going to end well for these people.
No.
You nailed it. That's true. 100%.
No, you're absolutely right, Larry. And this has definitely got to end now. This has gotten crazy. My wife was just telling me there's a restaurant right next to her business, and I'm going to say it's Panera Bread. She said nobody was there.
Sure.
Nobody was there because they have no employees because they're giving out all this free money. Just like this child care that Biden's handing out right now, $300 per kid. I mean, they're handing out to people that don't even need money for their kids. You're just handing it out like it's growing on trees. And I've said it before. They're trying to do this. Part of it is to buy the vote. Okay. Jerry has another thing that he and my wife were talking about tonight about it. But that's got to do with the illegals coming in this country. And I think you and Jill were talking about that, right?
Absolutely.
I'll let you talk about that in a minute. And then that's pretty much, it's just getting crazy. And now Biden pushed it. He said originally September. Then he said the end of the year. Now he says till the end of spring. He permanently wants to leave this on. And the reason part of it is to buy the vote. That's really what it is. They want that. They want to do everything they can. They want to bankrupt this country just to stay in power in 2022. Nancy Pelosi is probably one of the worst people I've ever seen in that chair up there. You've got her. You've got Maxine Waters. That's another one. She's a very racist. She starts riots. She's a problem. She shouldn't be in that chair. Neither one of them should be in that chair.
Schumer.
Joe Biden.
Schumer.
Yeah, Schumer. Exactly.
Schumer,
That's another one.
Supreme Court. Threatening the Supreme Court back in March. Remember that?
Yep.
You think this America forgets this stuff?
Not
One
at
more
all.
thing, fellas, and I got to ring off. I really appreciate the time here, guys. Good to chat with you all. Jose, you made a comment about Venezuela. I want to share with you guys. This is how big this is getting. Mark Levin. I am an advocator of Mark Levin. Within 1 week, his new book, American Marxism, sold almost 500,000 copies.
Wow.
Now, you're not going to tell me something's going on. That book is right on my nightstand. I was listening to him coming into work today, and he got a call from a fella in Australia. And he was telling this guy from Australia, and you could hear the the Australian accent, was talking about how socialism has broken into his world and how it's destroyed everything. And he started talking about the Biden train. And he said to Mark, if you real Americans don't knock this Biden train off its tracks, you're going to lose the superpower that you are. And the man broke down and was crying. So when I heard that, I'm driving to work. This is on the other side of the world. People see what's happening here. And I personally, gentlemen, I don't see Biden lasting through November. He's failing by the day. Who's going to take his place? That idiot? I don't think so.
Yeah.
We need to take this country back, guys.
Hey, Larry,
and I thank you so much for your time.
Yes. Quick before you go, I just want to bring something up.
Go ahead.
You guys were talking about masks and control, and you brought up the current people that are in control. Well, this is also possibly one of their ways of staying in control. We've heard all this, basically conversation about voter fraud in the last 6, 8, 10 months. And I believe that voter fraud's been around for a long time, and it's just our technology is now allowing us to find out more about it. But let's think about something. What easier way is there to fraudulently vote than to walk into a polling place wearing a mask and they can't see who you are? Think about that.
It's true.
Okay,
that's a great point.
You walk into a polling place, and it's like, and winter general elections are typically in November, cold and flu season. So you got cold and flu season. So now they get us, and somebody was just talking about this continual masking. I think it was Brian, where he keeps pushing it back. And so if they get it continual, where every year they just say, okay, guys, now it will no longer be cold and flu season. It will now be mask season. Hey guys, it's mask season. And so then once it's mask season, try and identify somebody going in and out of a polling place and figure out, if they just went out to their car and changed their shirt for a couple seconds and they walk back in and throw a ball cap on, it'd be impossible to tell, who has voted before and who hasn't. And so voter fraud, you think voter fraud's bad now? Wait until we all have to wear masks all the time.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and they don't.
I got to tell you, man, I never thought about that one. That's way over the top. But I wouldn't put anything past these people at this point, guys.
No.
It doesn't even have to be the politicians doing it, though. If they allow the masks to be worn, if you remember, because all of us lived in North Carolina when COVID came out. In North Carolina, it is illegal to carry a firearm, concealed or otherwise, if you're wearing a mask. And they had to actually change the laws in North Carolina before Cooper could make the mandate for the masks. And so people will take it upon themselves now to, basically use the mask to do what they want to do.
Wow.
Jeez. Wow.
Just a thought.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. This whole thing, just hearing more and more of this stuff's just really getting to me. I didn't even think about that.
But I didn't mean to keep it too long, Larry.
Me neither. Now I'm not. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
No, but that's why they want to get rid of voter ID anyway. We got most of the states do have it, but not all, and that's the left wants to get rid of it. They just, because they know they'll get more votes that way. Yep. They don't want fair. They want cheating. That's all they do. They're guilty of cheating. They're guilty of lying constantly. They're actually guilty of what happened, a lot of them, on January 6th. We know who's involved in that. We know what really happened. I had friends that were there, and they saw this stuff happen. They walked away from it, of course. Now, the people that went in there, yes, it was stupid. And yes, they need to be charged for what they did. Absolutely. I think anybody that definitely did that and goes after the police or anything, absolutely. There were law enforcement there, and they were actually defending. There were a lot of them that were defending and doing the right thing there and handling it, but they didn't have enough people. And that falls on the House Speaker, and we know that's Nancy Pelosi, so that goes back at her.
Yeah, but Brian, I agree with you.
Yeah.
The people that went in, that was really stupid, and they shouldn't have done that. But when we talk about they should be charged, prosecuted, and held accountable, I agree. But but maybe for picking up trash on the side of the road, something like that, they're putting these people in prison for simply going into a building that the police had taken down the barriers and left the doors open.
Oh yeah,
right.
So now we're putting
and there's
people
some truth
in prison.
to that. Yeah,
and it's like these are things that orange vest, 4 weekends next month or 8 weekends over the next 2 months. You go pick up trash on the side of the road, or you go build a bench in a public park or something like that. But prison, wow.
And what about all these BLMs that have been destroying this country for the last year or so?
and,
Right.
and killing police officers while they were doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they don't talk about the police that are getting killed on the streets out there as much, especially the Cartoon News Network and some of the other cartoon news networks, I call them, as we say. They're a bunch of, they're a joke, and they just want to hide everything. They don't want to see what's really going on. Well, they don't want the American people to know what's going on out there, especially the sheep, because they can get more ratings, they think, by doing this, but guess what? They're not. So their ratings are falling like crazy. So otherwise, Larry, anything else from you tonight?
Yeah, guys, I want to thank you for your time, Brian. I think you're doing a great thing. Again, you and I have known each other for close to maybe 10 years, and if this is a great idea you got going on. Your forum gets better all the time. I listen to you whenever I can, and it's hard to want to make a statement because we have jobs, we have families,
right?
And I had to take the time this evening to call you. I know you've got a lot of listeners. Once again, I'd like to promote Mark Levin's new book, American Marxism. You're going to start hearing the term Marxist quite a bit because he has inspired it. He had other terms for these people, the statists back then. I think he's written 10 books. I've read every one except Men in Black. That's about the Supreme Court. I would highly recommend you gentlemen, you buy this book, you take your time, you read it. There's ideas of what we can all do as American people to come together and fight back. We're not talking about burning flags and knocking down statues and being violent like the left do. We're talking about realistic legal actions. They want to do it. We should do it back, guys. And I thank you for your time, guys.
Have a
great
night.
Have a good one.
Have a great night. Thanks for calling, Larry. And if anybody else wants to call in, hey, we're here. So go ahead and call. Take care, Larry. Thank you. Good night. All right, guys. Well, we just heard from Larry, and obviously he gave his opinion, what he feels, and he's absolutely right on a lot of the stuff going on right now.
That was quite a solid opinion, too. And,
very solid.
And he had some very good background and points, and that's the kind of thing that we need to get out there is people like Larry and, people that are educated on what's going on and the processes that we need to take place to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we could get back into January 6th a little bit more. I want to talk about that. We're going to go into COVID, I'm sure, some more too. We'll do a little bit more here. Again, I know, like you said, Jerry, that they're actually locking people up. But I noticed they've been bailing out people from the riots, from the Black Lives Matter movement. Yes. When it came down to that, that's what Jim Jordan was talking about.
Kamala Harris bailed people out.
Yes, Kamala Harris did this. And this is what Jim Jordan wanted to be involved in this for. But Nancy Pelosi cut him out of this because they don't want the truth out there. They do not want it out there. They want to silence you. They want to silence all of us. They want to just control the world. And that's the problem here. I don't want to sound radical myself, but if you guys actually see what's going on, wake up. See what's going on because this is really the truth of what's going on out there. They're the ones that are radical. So,
but Brian, it's kind of funny. You mentioned you don't want to be radical, but
I know. I'm trying not to be.
Well, no, you're not, and that's what I wanted to bring up.
True is not being radical. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That is it's just the truth.
Exactly.
I know.
And that was going to be my point. Was that things that just a few years ago would be considered honesty, truth, integrity. Those are considered radical now. And it's like, and that's the unfortunate thing that we even have to think that way that, gosh, am I going to come across as a nut job if I say that? Oh, and it's like, when I was a kid and it's like, boy, my mom knew when I was lying and boy, she'd snatch me up by my, the scruff of my neck or the back of my shirt or whatever. And it's like, and, yank me into another room or and I'd get my discipline. But, it's like now you can't even do that. Now that's child abuse if you rear your child properly. And I know, Jose, I know you said you lived in Venezuela, but you're from
Dominican Republic. No,
right.
I never lived in Venezuela.
Oh,
I'm from the Dominican Republic.
Your family talked about going there then, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I remember on your show the night you were here, you mentioned Venezuela, but
no, I mentioned for a good friend of mine that she still lived over there, and she just amazed how everything is turning here, and people don't learn of something so recent as Venezuela, 10, 15 years ago.
Well, see, my wife is Venezuelan, and her family, little by little over the years have all been coming here because of what's going on down there.
Exactly.
And now their minds are blown because they've gotten here. And the very thing they left to get away from.
It's happening here
It's
now.
happening here now. And it's like, I mean, it's, I've got a very good friend named Matt, and, Matt moved down from New Jersey many years ago. And he tells his friends, hey, if you want to come down here, come on down, but leave your politics up there. He says, the reason I left there was because of your politics. So don't, tell me how great it is where I live and then come down here and then bring it with you. And, and that's the same thing with Venezuela. These people are coming here, my wife's relatives, and, they're like, holy cow, this is what we're running away from. And
it's now starting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something that I want to bring
And where
about,
do you go if it happens here?
Yeah.
we have nowhere to go.
Yeah. That's why we have to stand up.
America is the last chance we have, people, and we have to fight for it.
It's the Alamo.
Very bad.
It's the Alamo for the world.
It is. And something I
Gotten
want to
crazy.
bring over here about the new world order. If you go to the World Economy forums and you read about, they have in print big, there is our new chance for a new reset and a new world order. It says it right there.
Yep.
Just go to the website. The last country that hasn't fallen just yet is the United States. And if that happens, that's it. We're gone. So that's why we have to fight so hard. And that's why COVID is being used so political, And I will bring very good points when you're ready about all this COVID mandates and masks and vaccines and so on and so forth.
And like one thing I'll say that we've said it before, Rome is gone. If Rome can go, we can go.
Yep.
That's where this is going to continue if this keeps up. Hey, Jerry, we got that sign up in my office on the wall. What do you think about that?
You know what? It's one of my favorite Reagan quotes. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
And that's what the radical left wants to get rid of. They want to get rid of God. In the Pledge of Allegiance, God is in that. And remember that, guys. There is a reason for that, and they want to get rid of God. Look, I'm not going to get too much into Bible verses and all that, but if you go there, I'm a Christian, I've said that. It says in there that this is going to happen. Guess what? We're seeing it. We are starting to see this stuff. And I got
Brian,
a lot of stuff throughout my studio here. So
two conventions ago,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
when Mitt Romney was running against Obama, they took the American flag, they took the words God out of the convention, and they wouldn't allow the word God to be used during their convention.
Yeah.
And then during Hillary's campaign against Trump, they took the American flag out. So one step at a time. They took God out, then they took the flag out. And so basically to that quote, if we forget that we're a nation under God, then we'll be a nation gone under. And one step at a time, they've removed two of the most important things. And so, how can we really be surprised that patriotism is waning in this country, and that, we've got athletes taking knees, during the national anthem.
Yep.
We got calls for defunding the police. And I mean, it's insanity.
Well, we need to defund the House.
Let's do it.
Defund them.
Yeah, if those politicians had to work for free and they were not allowed to have a net worth higher than what they came in with, I wonder how many of them would stick around for 37, 40, 45 years.
Yeah, I know, and they only make $175,000 a year, right, Bull?
And think they're underpaid.
Oh yeah.
Poor guys. Oh my God.
And all their
175
expenses?
a year? Yeah. Everything cover all the expenses, housing, food, transportation, so on and so forth. Oh man, poor guys.
We had to see Nancy Pelosi's very expensive freezer with ice cream that was all out there because she's worth millions, as we know. Oh, that's right, because her and her husband are involved with, let's say, is it China and some stuff going on over there too, just like Biden is.
I'm not surprised.
Biden's son, by the way, we can go there. Yes, the hidden laptop. Look at Biden's son, what he's been through in his past. Yes, he's done drugs. He's been involved in all kinds. He's been caught with all kinds of Chinese, what do we say? Chinese, never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
Ladies of the evening.
Ladies of the evening.
Okay,
Let's
yes.
rephrase that, okay? Yes, that's been out there too.
Very well pulled together,
So-
Larry.
People make mistakes. I get it. People make mistakes. But when you continue to make it, this is a problem. I mean, I'll say it, I myself am married. I'm happily married. I am loyal to my wife, but somebody like him, I just don't get it. I don't know what, I know you guys are because I've known you guys for years. And people like that, they're just bad people.
Let's
I'm
also
just
not
for
forget
it.
he was thrown out of the United States military for using cocaine.
Yes. And
you know,
you
it's-
are in the military
Yeah, exactly.
for the whole term.
And he was an officer, so he was a higher up and somebody that was in a position of authority, and he was using cocaine. And I was like, do we really want to send our kids into, the military environment where their higher ups are using, drugs that will alter you that way? I wouldn't.
But not only that, have you guys read about the Biden daughter and all the mental issues she has, and what she said about all the abuses that she got in her life from their parents?
This is something new to me. No, I haven't heard
Yes. So the Biden family is quite messed up. It is. Okay, so I just want to bring here a clear point. We all have issues, including myself. We all have. But when you see a trend like that,
I don't. No.
I do.
I just want to shave a beard. That's all. It's just driving me
it's not
crazy.
happening. That's my big issue here.
All right.
Anyways,
And one thing I do want to say, he's going to talk about COVID here in a minute because he's going to break his family down. They're doctors and things like that. We're going to let him talk about this. But anyway, we'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
anyways, when you see trends like that, something's telling you that something is wrong here, right? And that's example that we're giving all these kids that's the right thing to do. If you have a president of the United States, have to be someone that you admire, and it's example to the American society and the entire planet, right? So what we're seeing here, people with mental issues, with drug abuse, and so on and so forth. I mean, it give you a lot to desire about,
And criminal financial activity with a foreign country.
Oh, yes. Which country, by the way? Anyway, so I just want to mention something here about. I won't mention the name of this person, but I'm just gonna say
keep names protected.
he was back in the 1940s, that big war that we have here in Europe and the entire planet, pretty much. He said like this: he was the propaganda person of this Nazi. So he says, if you tell a big lie and tell it frequently enough, it will become believable. So that's exactly what is happening right now with the mass media. They just keep lying. People keep depending on the mass media to be informed. People, go out there and reach for yourself. You guys are smart enough to do this. Don't depend on someone to tell you what to believe or what not to believe. Come on, people, you can do better.
Well, to your point on that quote too, and that's actually a very famous quote. And how else do you think that they got people to not only join the Nazi Party, getting them to join the Nazi Party? Some people felt they had to, or they'd be ostracized. Mm-hmm. But with your point of, if you tell a lie often enough, loud enough, that people start to believe it. That's how you get people to do the things like the concentration camps and the experiments on human beings and things like that. And let me tell you something, if we don't arrest the behavior that is going on in the United States right now and make some changes, we're headed down that road. Because if they can make you wear a mask, the next thing you know, they're going to say, well, hey, let's see what you look like, if we do this.
Something I want to bring over here, and I'm sorry, it has to do with that. I'm sorry to interrupt. So after all the World War II ends, there were trials that they did in Europe, especially in Germany. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Nuremberg Accord. Yep. So I'm going to read something here pretty quick, which is the Article 6, Section 1. Any preventative, diagnosis, or therapy medical intervention is only to be carried out with the period free informed consent of the person concerned. Based on the adequate information, the consent should, where appropriate, and be expressed at any withdrawal of any of the person that it is agreeing with the procedure. Pretty much what this thing is saying, that nobody can force you to get vaccinated or get any therapeutical or any medical treatment, and all these accords, they were written just because to prevent what is happening right now. As well, I want you to go ahead, because I'm dyslexic, so I have a hard time reading and talking. My apologies for that. So go and read Article 6, Section 3 as well, of the Nuremberg Accord. It's telling you a lot, guys. And everything that's happening right now, these international laws were written to prevent all this that is happening. And my apologies if I can't read it. I'm heavily dyslexic, and it's happening right now big time. So my apologies for that. Go ahead, Brian.
No, actually, I agree with you. But listen to this, guys. As we've seen this, he had a good point. So did Jerry. We're starting to see these steps. First, we see the step of this person needs to be vaccinated. Now, this person, they're starting to take their steps. Pretty soon, you're going to say, I don't want to be vaccinated. And they're going to say, no, you have no choice. We're going to tie you down. We're going to jab that needle in your arm, and you have no choice. This is America. You have a choice. It's time for us to fight back. Now, again, I've had vaccines when I was a kid. We've all had vaccines. It was different. I'm not against the vaccine whatsoever. But what I am against is when someone forces things upon you that could damage your body if you have a reaction. It is your choice. It is your choice to take an aspirin. It's your choice not to. An aspirin can kill somebody. It happens. People have reactions.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
That is the problem here, guys. Again, I'm not saying vaccines don't work, because definitely some of the numbers have gone down and things, and I heard that tonight from good, reliable sources. But again, how are these vaccines going to be over long term? These vaccines are not, and again, for those of you right now out there, they're not approved by the FDA. Huh?
What?
I just saw of you guys, but that's not true. Look it up. They're not approved by the FDA. They're approved by emergency use, but they're not fully approved by the FDA. What do you think about this, guys?
Well, it's funny because Jose and I were talking a little bit downstairs before we came up here. And one of the things we talked about is these people going door to door with the vaccine. And, Jose and I were talking. One of the things that came up that we both agreed upon was the fact that these people are coming out to your house and they're trying to push you into a decision that should be between you and your doctor, not between you and some random person with a clipboard that happens to know how to stick a syringe in your arm. And Jose was like, yeah, they show up at my house. They have no idea of my medical history. They don't know what I react to. They don't know what I'm allergic to. They don't know anything. And they're going to come up there and jab me in the arm with
That's
something
criminal.
that could kill me.
Hey, one thing on that. Let's just go down this road. I'm going to go down some dark path here on something. You got some crazy people out there. Guess what? All of a sudden, you have somebody come up to your door. All of a sudden, they're sitting there with another person, perhaps, and they got these maybe lab coats on, and they're saying, we're from the government. We're here to talk to you about this vaccine. Do you want this vaccine? These people may not even be working for the government. They may be just some crazy person that decided, hey, I'm going to shove some hallucinogenic in somebody's arm and do something crazy. There's some crazy people out there who will start doing this. Because God knows, we've seen enough people do crazy things out there. There's been serial killers and everything else. Now, what is there going to be? People doing this next? We're going to hear about this. People dying because somebody said they worked for the government and they didn't, and they did this. It's just something that could happen, guys. So that scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me.
And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt, Larry. So the other day, like a month ago or so, I saw Indeed, looking in Indeed, I was where you search for jobs, and I looked like COVID-19 enforcers, paying like $20 an hour or something like that. So they work for a private company.
Wow.
They don't work for the government. So that it is even worse. And something I want to bring about vaccines. We are not against vaccines. I have some vaccines in myself, and some of them, they do work. But here's the thing, though. I'm going to bring something up here because good friends are physicians. My wife's a surgeon. My dad is a surgeon. So I have a little understanding of how this thing works, right? So when you are developing a vaccine, right, you have different stages, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is the final. So here's my question. There's two options here. They developed this extremely fast, which they did, 9 months, which raises a lot of questions in the medical trials, in human trials, animal trials, so on and so forth. Or they knew this in advance and they were ready for it. And the two options, they are terrifying. It's just common sense here, right? What is happening, people, with this vaccine? What are their agenda they have with the vaccines? Another thing is, if something happens to you when you take this vaccine, you can't sue. They are not liable. You are liable for that. On top of that, you can know. They don't tell you what are in those vaccines. You can't know anything about it. What? And they don't. That doesn't raises questions to you guys. Put it this way, Brian. We have a lot of experience selling vehicles, right? So what happens if a customer comes in and you tell the customer, I have this brand new car, it only has 10 miles. But here's a little thing though. Toyota is not giving guarantees anymore. So you can, if something happens to the car, you're liable for the car. Will you buy the car? Of course not. Why are you doing that to your buddy? That doesn't make any sense here. You get my point here? There is a dark agenda with this vaccine. I don't want to bring conspiracy here, but something that is not adding up here, guys. If you want to take vaccine, go ahead and do so, right? But it's not making sense here for me. All this is happening with this vaccine.
Well, Jose, it's kind of funny you mentioned that about the not knowing what's in the vaccine, because not pimping a product, but Brian, how many ingredients do you think are on that label there?
20, I can't see.
20,
Hold on.
25 ingredients, something like that.
Glasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all this is an electrolyte sports drink. This is just, you
Yeah.
go out, you work out, you want to rehydrate yourself, you take this. But the government mandates,
Exactly.
they make the company put the ingredients on here so you know what you're putting in your body. But like Jose's saying, with this vaccine, they won't let us know.
Exactly.
Forget forcing us to know. They won't let us know.
Look, I do.
By law, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Before I forget to, and I'm going to bring this up, the 3 vaccines, there's even some more out there. The 3 that we're aware of, obviously, the Pfizer, the Moderna, and the JJ, or Jensen & Jensen, that's the other name for it. They're actually found out that one's from overseas. There's actually Johnson & Johnson are connected with them. The reason why I want to go here is because I talked about Fauci earlier. The rumor is, and I've heard that he's getting money off the Pfizer and off the Moderna. However, they're not pushing the JJ. Now, I have spoken to doctors. I had this nurse pull me aside, and she was whispering, I'm not going to get into where or who. I'm not going to get this person into trouble. But this individual says, yeah, I got the JJ because it covers more. It covers more of the variant. And guess what? It's not really changing your genes like the other ones are. That one's scared. Anything that changes my genes, I'm scared. I'm scared. This is not Jurassic Park, guys. We saw what happened to Jurassic Park. So I just want to keep in mind, if you choose to do that, research the JJ a little bit more. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to push any drug or anything or any vaccine here. But again, just research that one a little bit more. My wife did get that one, and I'll say it, and she had some side effects that night. She's been doing good. Oh, first thing you said, there were blood clots. There were 6 women with blood clots is what happened. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into that one anymore, but just keep in mind, that's why they're pushing this, because Fauci's getting paid off this stuff. And you saw, Ron Paul was all over Fauci last week. And Fauci, in my opinion, right now, Fauci just wants to be political. He wants to make money. I think he should lose his license. I think maybe they should do an investigation on him. Maybe he should go to jail over this. I don't know. Hey, we heard Ron Paul talking about it the other day. This is serious, serious stuff. And this has got to end now. Anyway, go ahead. What are you?
Something I want to mention here. The other day, like a month ago, so we were talking to some friends here, and one of them, she speaks Latin, and we brought up AstraZeneca. And you know what AstraZeneca mean in Latin?
No idea.
Kill stars.
What?
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But something else.
Anyway,
something else I want to bring here. Pfizer is the most profitable medical treatment in history.
Well,
enough said.
Let's also on the Pfizer. If you remember a couple of weeks ago when Joe Biden was talking about the vaccine, he was talking about how much he had contracted with Pfizer to purchase with U.S. tax dollars to send around the world, and talk about a socialist style of government. Socialism is where the government picks the winners and losers and who makes money and who doesn't make money. And guess what? He just chose a company. He didn't say, hey, all 3 vaccines are going to get equal, or if any other companies come out, they'll get a share of the pie. He said, no, we're buying the Pfizer vaccine and we're going to send that around the world. And I'd be willing to bet that there's some backdoor money going through
Oh, yeah.
Hunter
Oh, yeah.
Biden,
Oh,
or,
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
And Hunter Biden probably knows as much about the vaccine as he knew about Ukrainian gas companies, but you know.
I wouldn't doubt that one.
Sorry about for you guys who lost the pipeline here. It was being made. So Russia, Russia, congratulations. You got your pipeline back because of our weak president.
No wonder why Putin is so happy with Biden right now.
Yeah, who's really being controlled by Russia?
Oh, yeah.
Who's part of Russia? Was not Donald Trump. It was definitely these groups right now, Biden and his son and China and all that going on. Yeah, this is all coming out. Look, I want to talk about this thing too being lab made. It's coming out more and more and more. Yes, this thing looks like it's been lab made. We all can look back. Look, COVID's never acted like this before. COVID usually dies off more in the summer. We don't see it as much. Guess what? Let's talk about this. This has been a weird virus last year. It did a lot of damage, yes, but it also, I've talked to doctors, it's affected people's hearts and things like that. Like a doctor was telling me they know of they have a patient who's 30 years old. It's affected their heart. But again, getting into the vaccine too, I've spoken to certain individuals and one of the nurses, and I've got friends and stuff who have had friends and relatives who have gotten this vaccines, and all of a sudden, 2 days later, things have happened. They have complications. Some people have died. Some of the autopsies haven't come back. I'm not going to get into all that too much because I'm probably going to get shut down for saying that real quick.
I have a family
or have
member.
somebody's going to be bailing me out of jail.
I want to say something here. A family member that took it, she almost died.
Yeah.
Okay. And something else I want to bring here, a friend of mine that she's a liberal, by the way, but she's a physician. And I asked her the other day, how is everything at your hospital doing? She works here in North Carolina. She says, the last COVID case that we have was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we are empty here when it comes to COVID cases.
But our government's running around with their hair on fire.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, telling us, you know, we got to remask and we got to get vaccinated and we got to. And the last one was how long ago? 6 weeks, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got our nice news channel here, which I read about every day from them going, hospitals are packed. Hospitals are packed. You know what? They're not packed. I've talked to all kinds of hospitals around here. I've talked to nurses. I've talked to doctors. They're like, this channel is lying. Guess what? I'll call them out. WRAL, liars. Whoever's doing that report, I'm calling you out. I will go down to a hospital with you. I will meet you at a hospital. We will talk to doctors together at the hospital. I am calling you out to meet me down at the hospital. Contact me on my website, www.just-commonsense.com. Go there, send me an email. I will meet you down there and I will call you out and call you a liar right now. And I don't like using those words, but I am so tired of the fake media. And I'm calling out the Cartoon News Network, CNN. I will call you out, guys, and we can go down there and we can go to the border. I will go to the border with you. I will fly down to the border with Harris or anybody. Harris, you didn't even go to the right place down there. That is a whole nother thing down there. Everybody's starting to see it. Now they're starting to back up. Well, wait a minute. There's some stuff going on. Yes, we've been telling you about it. That's why we're all frustrated right now, because we're the smart ones. You guys are just trying to get the sheep to follow you, and that's why we're all frustrated. But anyway.
Well, no, Brian, I need to add on to what you just talked about, though, with the hospitals. At this point last year,
yeah,
every day on the internet, on television, on the radio, we were being bombarded with the numbers of deaths from COVID.
Yes.
And now they're talking about how bad COVID is and this new Delta variant and the new Lambda variant down in South America. Mm-hmm. But you know what we haven't heard in probably 8 months, 9 months? The daily death count.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because it's so far down.
Well, that's why and that's why I brought it up to you. I just showed it to you. I got it right here, that less than 500.
But the media is trying to portray this as this new emergency. But, where's the death count then? And it's like, no, don't get me wrong. Every death is tragic.
Of course
it is.
And it's like, but the thing is, when they were, when it worked in their favor all day, every day, that's all we heard about. This many people died in North Carolina. Many people died in the United States. this many people died in Italy and this country and all over the world, and that's all we heard. It's been literally half a year or more since we were getting those daily reports.
Another thing I want to bring here, where are all these efforts for cancer? Why wouldn't invest all the money in cancer? You know, the billions of dollars that has been spent for COVID? Why wouldn't you use that money and put in something else? It's not only COVID, people, right? 98% of people survive from COVID. 98.5. Come on. If you have cancer, and if you have stage 3 cancer, it's pretty much 90% that you die.
Yeah.
Where is all that money invested for something else? Of course, I'm saying COVID is dangerous. Yes, some people could die, but why invest in so much money, so much effort, so much propaganda on this?
Because they want to control.
Exactly.
And let's
It's
talk
political.
about, I do want to break down a little bit of something on cancer. Yeah, I've had some friends who've had cancer. My own father had cancer. And the amount of money that goes into these drugs for cancer research is unbelievable.
Yep.
And do you know what? They make a lot of money on these drugs.
Oh, yeah.
The pharmaceutical companies out there are making a lot. Do they have a lot of cures for things? I believe they do have a lot of cures, but they're going to hold it over your head because they want to make money. So that's what it's about.
Is more profitable than cure.
Yeah, that's true.
And by the way, Brian, you were bringing up Fauci and his profitability from the different vaccines. This goes way back before COVID, and I grew up in South Florida, and in Miami, some of the hospitals in Miami were on the front line and doing AIDS research. Guess who was in charge of that?
Fauci.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. And guess who made a ton of money? And guess what's still out there and not cured?
AIDS.
Yep.
And it's something I want to bring about AIDS. You remember back in the 90s where we have this big spike of AIDS, and employees, they couldn't discriminate against people with AIDS. You remember that?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
now they can discriminate with us, the unvaccinated.
Yep.
What is the difference here? How difficult to understand the manipulation that is happening here, guys. Just wake up. Just wake up. What is going to happen here? We're going to have concentration camps for the unvaccinated?
Actually, Jose, yes. And the reason I say that, right before I came over here, and Brian and I, talk on the side a lot, and, I try not to watch as much TV news as I used to, but I still do. And before I came over, I was watching television. They were talking about the NFL. And there are a number of NFL teams that are starting their training camps right now for the upcoming season. The players who are vaccinated are wearing a yellow wristband.
Okay.
The players who are not vaccinated are wearing a red wristband.
Okay.
You must wear one or the other. So, your papers, please.
This is no Poland 1938, people.
Yeah.
But the same thing is happening right now.
Yep.
And all this mass media and the left, people wake up. It's nothing against you. We're trying to save you as well of your blindness. Because
Well, how long before it's tattoos?
Yeah, or something that you go like, yeah, look, I'm vaccinated, because that's going to be the new papers, please.
I've actually
Come on,
met people from World War II that were in concentration camps that have the tattoos with their numbers.
Yeah.
And that's what's next. You're vaccinated? Here, let's go ahead and make a little mark on you to show that you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
And each mark will be a different vaccination. Oh, well, that's your COVID vaccination. That's this vaccination. That's this one. Next thing you know, you've got this whole list on your arm, and all you got to do is just hold your arm out and show everybody your entire medical history.
Come on, people, wake up. Wake up.
I want to bring up something. Jerry just made me think about something. By the way, they're coming out now with a booster shot. Guess what? Fauci wants everybody to get that booster shot. Why? Bingo! Because he can make more money off the booster shot. That's exactly what's going on right now. So it's absolutely ridiculous. So now a booster shot's going to save you from the new variant, which the new variant, by the way, it spreads faster, but the death rate's lower right now. They're not seeing a huge amount in the death rate versus last year. It's a lot lower. Guys, wake the hell up. See what they're trying to do. See what's going on. This is getting crazier and crazier. I remember growing up as a kid, I enjoyed life. I didn't have to wear a mask. Now they're going to put kids. Look, Kids with masks. This is absolutely uncalled for. Last year, they had to stay at home. Kids get out there. They start playing with their friends finally. They start feeling like, hey, I'm a real kid. I can play around with my friends, have fun, play football, do all that. Guys, if this continues to go on, these kids are going to grow up with masks on their face. They're going to all of a sudden say, okay, take the mask off for a day. Okay. And they're going to be frightened to take the mask off. And then all of a sudden, oh, no, you got to put your mask back on. Oh, my God, did I get it? What's going on? I mean, I hate to sound crazy right now, but this is the stuff that's going on. They're actually hurting your children instead of helping your children. The death rate is up on suicides because of this stuff going on. And you know what? They're the ones to blame on it right now. The radical left up there, they're the ones to blame on this.
And what about alcohol consumption? It's up the roof.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, there's an alcohol shortage I just heard too. Oh my God, everybody just went crazy of drinks. Yeah, there is. There actually is. I heard about it the other day.
And by the way, let me save my dyslexia. Let me read this. This is a Nuremberg Accord Code, Article 6, Section 3. Leaders should be aware that mandating masks of citizens or a nation, preventing their access to food, healthcare, transportation, or education if they don't comply is a war crime. Masks or any other medical intervention must remain voluntary. And this is the international law, people.
That's pretty clear.
And they're breaking it.
They break lots of laws lately.
Yeah, but this one is a big one.
Yes.
Well, but Brian was talking about the masks, and also Larry earlier when he was on the phone and talking about the children at the young ages and how it can affect them. And we've got things like children that have childhood versions of asthma. That's never going to get better if they're wearing a mask.
Of course not.
If you've got a child with a psychological disorder, I'll just bring up claustrophobia. If you got somebody with claustrophobia, you're going to put a mask on somebody with claustrophobia at a young age when they haven't even had the opportunity to learn how to deal with that particular affliction at that point. And you're going to throw a mask on them and then throw them in a room full of people that they can't even see who it is and don't know who it is for sure. And, now a bus driver, we always tell our kids, don't talk to strangers. But now we're going to tell them, get on the bus with that person that you can't see who it is.
Of course not.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're doing homeschooling and have a 6-year-old. It's not going to school with a mask. And neither being 6 feet apart. It's not happening, people. It's not happening.
Well, we already seen what they did down in the border. They're throwing people in cages. Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't Trump's fault, by the way. That goes back to Obama. But now Joe Biden's doing it. These kids were being put down there. They're all piled up together. They're not getting rid. They're just bringing more COVID into this country. Why aren't they opening that, or why aren't they looking at that? Why aren't they talking about this? Because they know the truth, what's going on here. They really do. I could go ahead and I could put this on Facebook. It'll be shut down real quick. Look, this is a fact. The email from Fauci went out to Facebook a while back ago telling Facebook, all right, if you see anything come across that says this was from a lab, this is this, guess what? Shut it down. Please don't let them see that. Guess what? Zuckerberg already said, oh, yeah, we'll do that. That's why a lot of things were being shut down on Facebook for a period of time. And now all of a sudden they started letting a little bit of stuff getting out there on Lab Made. But again, this is the problem. Fauci wants to control a lot of things. Fauci needs to go. Pelosi needs to go. Schumer needs to go. Biden needs to go. Harris needs to go. You want me to continue to go on and on?
Kinzinger, Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney, us. Oh, yeah, another one. Mitt Romney, another one.
Yep.
Mitt Romney, yeah, that's another one right there.
Mittens needs to go.
Look, I'm going to, guys, you guys who are on the conservative side, they're sitting in the Senate right now, if you're listening to this, you need to grow a backbone. Jim Jordan, he has a backbone. He is out there fighting for the American people. He is out there fighting for your right to wear a mask or not to wear a mask. It is your decision. It is your decision to get vaccinated or not. I am a big fan of Jim Jordan. Ted Cruz, another one I'm a big fan of. I love Ted Cruz. He's very honest. He is a fighter. And you know what? We need more people in the Senate, in the House that are fighters that will do this and do it the right way. These guys need to go in 2022. They got to go. If we even make it that far, that's what I'm worried about. I'm really worried about what damage they're going to do to this country, because the damage they're doing right now is unbelievable. I have never seen so much crime on the streets. We're talking about it's getting worse and worse and worse every day. Let me tell you, I've got concealed and carry, and I'll tell you what, I usually don't, but I'm carrying more and more, and that's basically it. I know Jerry's got concealed and carry. I know we're working on Jose,
we are
but
on the way.
He's a little scary, guys, and I'm a little not sure if he is actually. The beard scares me, so
We're gonna break the ice.
I'm just saying. You know, you look a little bit like
No, Brian, that's a great place to conceal, though.
Oh, I never thought about it. You're right. Right? A 9mm probably can put over here. I'm just gonna let it grow another 3 or 4 inches. Gosh, man.
I just don't want him. I don't want him to be one of those terrorist seeds that's sitting in my room.
I will
all of a sudden he does something.
I will tie it up here. You know.
I'm telling you, man. If you're going to do this, at least make it look cool. Do some braids, like on each side, look like a Viking, or something. Exactly. Look like a Viking.
I can try really hard. I'm never gonna look like a Viking.
Viking with a Spanish accent. That would be interesting. I'm sorry,
and we do have fun on this show, and we gotta have fun, because that's what this show is about. Just common sense and fun too. We are all just human, and I say it, guys.
That will be hilarious.
We are all just human out there, and I mean, guys, we all have feelings. If it's the right or left, I'm not going to say the radical lefts, but again, guys, wake up. Like Jose said, like Jerry said, just wake up. Do your own research on what's going on out there. This is a very serious time, and this cannot go on anymore. Anything else from you guys?
Yeah, just one last thing, and I don't mean to take us down a rabbit hole, but just something.
Oh my God.
Something that I.
This is going to be all over. Podcast, YouTube, every place I can put it. It's going to be out there.
This was one that really caught my attention earlier today, and one of the things that's going on with our government is, and this is something we haven't even discussed at all in here tonight, so this is going to be a new one for you guys.
It's fine.
Earlier today, they were talking about our weak leadership in Washington, D.C., and so right now, we're pulling our troops out of Afghanistan, and we're pulling them out quicker than, would probably be the most prudent way to do it. But we're doing it because, he wants to make a point of, pulling them out by a certain date. So he's doing that. Well, today, the Chinese sent a delegation to meet with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Oh, I don't know if you guys had heard that.
Are you guys reading between the lines here? Are you guys?
And by the way, you do know that Afghanistan and China are neighbors. They share a border.
Yes.
And so, you want to talk about creating the new, regional power, and that would also be a straight shot through Afghanistan to Europe for China.
Wow.
And so, but think about that. I mean, it's like, over the years, the U.S. has projected power overseas, but we did it after certain things like World War I, World War II, where we would leave a base in a country that, had been one of the combatants, and we leave bases there so that we can just kind of say, hey, look, we're going to have this base here. You guys were the losers of this war, so we're going to hold you accountable. And to do that, we need people here to hold you accountable. Well, now China's not going to war and putting military bases around the world, but China has started working in Africa. China is now working in Afghanistan, and China is projecting their military power. As a matter of fact, China is now purchasing and building aircraft carriers.
Oh, and yes, they are. Oh, yeah. And they have a very strong Air Force right now.
Yes.
Very high-tech, 4th-generation fighters. So they're pretty strong right now. And it's scary. And
now think about how close Europe is to Afghanistan in a supersonic fighter jet.
Just a few hours. Yeah. Less than that.
Yeah, less than that. Yeah.
It is really worrying. And how China is trading, is having issues with Taiwan right now, to go to war anytime. You know why they need Taiwan? Because they're a big producer of silicon.
Right.
And they need that to keep growing.
But even if they don't make any kind of military alliance with the Taliban in Afghanistan, all they have to do is tell the Taliban, hey, we've got your back. You guys just keep the U.S. off our border. And then that way, if something happens with Taiwan, then the Chinese don't have to worry about their land borders, because they've got, the Taliban watching their back on the land borders. See, when we were in Afghanistan, China really had to be, very careful what they did because we were in Afghanistan. We have bases in Japan. We have bases in the Philippines. We have bases all over the Pacific area. But now we've just taken away a huge section that China would have to worry about if they start misbehaving.
Wow.
And you want to talk about a common goal? The Taliban would love nothing better than to destroy the United States. China would love nothing better.
Of course. Of course.
I always said this, China's one of our biggest threats. My father told me this a long time ago. Remember, he fought the Chinese. I love the Chinese people. I want to break that down. It's the government that's the problem. And unfortunately, you've got some crazy people out there, and my dad had to fight the North Koreans, had to fight the Chinese. He said, never, ever trust the Chinese government. People are good. The government's the problem, and they want to control the world. Look, MacArthur wanted to continue to go on. My dad, who actually got hurt, but he still wanted to go back. He's like, I want to go on. He wanted to follow MacArthur. He really wanted to go on. He wanted to go on through China because they knew this stuff was going to happen. Guess what? We're there now because it got political, because some of the Democrats back in the day got political and pulled them out. And that was part of the problem, too. So, anyway.
Well, two of our iconic generals, though, have basically been almost like fortune tellers. At the end of World War II, Patton told us if we didn't deal with Russia at that time, that we would be dealing with them later, and it would, cost us a lot more. And then look what happened with the Cold War and our regional conflicts where we, fought against Russia in different regional conflicts. And then MacArthur, same thing at the end of Korea. MacArthur's like, no, we've got to finish this. We've got to, eliminate the Chinese as a threat, and we've got to keep Korea as one country. And, well, we saw what happened there, and now look.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very, very serious problem. It's just going to get worse and worse. Guys, definitely go to my website, www.just-commonsense. I, again, am going to run for Senate here. I'm telling you, I got people that say I should run for U.S. Senate. I would love to do that instead, but I'm not well known yet, so we'll see how it goes. But, again, I'm going for Carolina right now. But, hey, if I got up there, it wouldn't be pretty. They think Jim Jordan's bad with them. I am far worse, let me tell you. I'm just holding back. But anyway, as always, anything else from you guys tonight? I know we've got about an hour and 16 minutes into this so far.
No, I didn't mean to get us off track with the
No, we can continue.
China thing,
We're fine. I could go on with this for another 3 hours myself. But my listeners will get bored and go to sleep.
No, I'm good, man.
Oh, okay. At the end of these 3 hours, we are going to cut his beard off with the chainsaw. Isn't that going to be awesome?
No. I will trim it tomorrow, actually. I will. A little bit.
What, like one hair?
Maybe two. The most.
Hey, I got baby birds out in my outside of the office here in the studio. There's a nest of baby birds out there, and I could that would make a good birds. Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. I'm digging the holster idea behind there.
But you just in a couple months, and you can you can be close to me.
You know what I think it is? I think Brian's just jealous. I don't think he can grow that kind of facial hair. So
that's the problem,
guys. I'm going to tell you.
Let's not get into this because we have an issue up here, and he's way ahead of us.
Well, I'm going to tell you this though. I had one of my coworkers, and I can grow a beard. The problem is when I grow a beard, it comes out all gray. And
what's wrong with that?
Hey, here's what's wrong with that. After 2 weeks of growing that thing out, it was getting to be a pretty good sized beard. And she goes, it makes you look 10 years older. And I'm like, gone the next day. Now I got to show my butt chin, I call it. So
I'm just 39, by the way. So if I actually have like a baby face. If I shave, I will look like 29, 30 years old. For real.
You're 39 years old? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually
just the beard.
Yeah, nobody knows my age. How old do you guys think I am? All right.
I know.
I know too.
Well, you told me.
I'm sorry. I'm good.
Hey, I'm just saying, I got it. Let's see you do a Spartan race. I did a Spartan race, not last year before, and it was fun, and I had a blast, guys, and it was a lot of work crawling under the barbed wire and everything else and going under the water and all that. It was fun. I wanted to do it last year, but COVID shut that down. Now this year, yeah, I'm trying to get rid of some of this. I'm not too much, but still, I'm trying to get back in shape. I'm going to work on that. My wife's going, get to the gym.
That's a sensitive topic for me.
Hey, you guys are fine. Look, I got a gym downstairs, a whole gym in this place, and my wife's down there, and she works out every day. I've been with her going on 15 years. There's only one day I've seen her not run and work out. One day. And she could be down there with the flu, and she'll work out. Not me. I'm going to do a Spartan race next year if this country is still here. After all this.
It will.
Yeah, let's keep going with this, guys. Definitely, guys, just want to keep in mind that keep everything peaceful out there. I know everybody's angry right now. You can see it from us. But again, nobody's going to get crazy and do anything. I'm going to say it. Just keep things peaceful, keep things calm. But again, I always say this. There's Second Amendment. Don't take it away because it's there to protect our families. Like I've said, if someone comes in this house to come after my family, I'm going to protect my family. That's just the way it is. And I'll be honest, the way it's getting out there on the streets, especially in some of these places like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, a lot of other cities out there we're talking about who are run by Democrats.
By the way, yeah.
It's 100% fact. 100%. Even the mayors of these cities and the governors. There was one governor who was a Republican, but the city was run by a mayor. I can't remember what that was. That was last year. But otherwise, anything else from you, Jerry?
Yeah, I just got to throw this out since you brought up mayors and everything like
Yep.
that. Earlier when Jose was on the way over, he called Brian up, and he asked for the address to Brian's house. So Brian, being the smart,
Don't get my address out, please.
being the smart aleck that he is, he gave the number, he gave the street, and then when he went to give the city, he said Idiotville. And so after he hung up, we were joking around. We're like, I was like, yeah, hopefully Jose's not trying to look up Idiotville. And so Brian says, I got to look it up, folks. There is an Idiotville. Okay, there's Idiotville here.
Really?
There was an Idiotville. Go ahead.
The mayor is a Democrat.
Yes.
No way.
I kid you not.
Nope. I looked it up. I had to check it out. I was like, this is funny. Oh my gosh.
So I'll leave that as my crowning achievement for the night right there. So that's.
And again, as always, Jerry, I do want to thank you for your time in the military. As all my listeners say, look, they all want to thank you for your service, everything you've done in the Marine Corps. Look, on the other side of this camera there in my studio, guys, I've got the United States Marine Corps sitting up top. I've got the Navy next. I've got the Army. Doesn't matter what order they're in. I'm trying to get the Coast Guard, and there's, that's the next step. I'd like to get that. The Air Force is up there, so we're good there. So that's it otherwise. Guys, I want to get out there in public. I want to start getting out in the streets, talking to people. I want to get in front of people. I want to actually have the military support me. I want to have the police support me, firefighters, all the first responders, which goes back to firefighters. And again, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. We all do. We thank you guys that are actually out there working and not collecting this money. I know some of you are collecting the money. I've spoken with a few of you just because of your children, because the government's handing it to you. That is your choice. But again, I'm not for it. I am for it for people that really need the money, who are looking for a job, who are having problems getting a job. But again, why would you have a problem getting a job right now? Because everybody's hiring. They're trying to get people desperately to work. So get off the couch, quit eating potato chips and everything else, because you got to get back to work. I'm going to say this. I want to say one thing. My wife brought this up tonight, and she may have somewhat of a valid point. She was talking about some of these illegals coming in, and they're going to start taking these jobs. And all of a sudden, when it's time for you to go back to work, you're going to be going, well, wait a minute. Jobs are filled. I can't get a job now? Guess what? You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your car. You're going to lose everything you work for because of this. The money will go away.
And they're eager to work. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They are eager to work. And they're hard workers. I have no problem with them. I understand I have no problem with these people wanting to come across the border if they do it legally. And I do say they're hard workers. We all have seen it. I have no problem with the people themselves, but come in legally. Don't listen to this radical government right now that's doing this, because again, they're like, everything's open, come on in. Well, guess what? It shouldn't be. This is a problem, and don't bring COVID over, especially.
And by the way, all immigrants are welcome here, other than Cubans.
Yes.
Of course, because they know better, and they will educate people here of what is happening here in the States that already happened in Cuba and Venezuela and so on and so forth. But why welcome and open the border, but then say, you Cubans, please don't come?
And
Really?
I love the Cuban people, please. I know this. I grew up around them. They're great people. They sent criminals over. What year was that, Jerry? You remember. I think we talked about that.
The 80s?
The first time was in the early 80s. And
82,
then the next time
83,
was like
84.
94 or something like that, where they did it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, but both times they emptied their prisons, put them on. As a matter of fact, that's where the movie Scarface.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Tony Montana
Yeah,
character. He was a criminal. He was in prison. They let all the criminals out and sent them over. And that was actually, even though it was a movie, basically that was a thing that did happen down there.
And by the way, I lived 16 years in South Florida, and I love Cubans, and I have very good friends, Cuban friends. But for the new administration, they're not welcome. Why? Because they know better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real problem, and that's what's going on. Look, for Joe Biden and all them out there right now, this is the time to stand up against the government of Cuba right now. They're begging for your help right now. The Cuban people are saying, please, do something for us. Do something. You know what? Sitting back doing nothing is not helping this problem. It's a communist country. They are standing up to this. And God knows, if this continues and we go down this road and we're starting to see it, I'm just saying, we're not gonna hold back one day.
And Brian and Larry, you know what is saying, that they are protesting for high cases of COVID and lack of vaccines. Come on, people, really? And you will believe that? Come on.
Oh yeah, I know. Now again, I'm just gonna say it, going into the vaccine, definitely not against vaccine. I've been vaccinated. But again, just keep all that in mind. Do what you got to do, guys. Do what's comfortable for you. I did bring up certain vaccines earlier. Do the research. Pull the charts. Find the actual charts that I'm talking about. I'll get them out there. I'll put them on my website. I'll get them out there on the website. Do it by next week. I'll get a copy of everything out there for you guys. So again, just go to my website. Definitely share my YouTube, share my podcast. My podcast is going crazy. My podcast, I'm getting people from other countries right now mentioning things on my about my podcast. They're loving that. Podcast people listen to apparently a lot more, I guess because they're in their car, they can hear it. I got in the car this morning, and it was so funny because apparently I had my podcast running, and all of a sudden I heard Jerry's voice in my car, and I'm going, how's Jerry on the radio and I'm not? What is happening here? And I thought he was on the news channel because I usually have a lot of the news running. I'm like, Jerry, you're on the news and I'm not. How's this happening? I'm going to have a talk with him about this. And I realized my podcast was running automatically. So,
by the way, your what podcast was that you were on?
What do you mean?
That you heard? You were listening to our podcast, right?
My podcast,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I thought it was you were listening to something else, and he was on the radio. That's what I understood. Okay,
it was my podcast. Yeah, it was. I was running Apple this morning, so it was on my Apple. So I was sitting there. I'm going, whoa. Yeah, I forgot to tell you about that, Jerry. I think you went through something like that a couple weeks back.
Yeah, I was listening to one of Brian's podcasts, and he asked me a question, and I had the volume up, a pretty decent, volume. And so he asked me a question, and I kind of turned to answer the question, and I remembered that, oh, wait, this is a recorded podcast that Brian and I already did. I was like,
hilarious.
So I didn't need to answer. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Hey, guys, we are approaching an hour and 28 minutes. Do you think we could push that 2 minutes more and break my record of 2 more minutes here?
Let's not.
I'm hungry.
You're buying dinner tonight? Hey, guys, no restaurants are open. Everybody's out of business. Is that right? Oh, no, that's where it's going to go if this continues.
Yep.
And, some of these favorite restaurants you love, guess what? Even some of these big ones, you're going to say, where did they go? Where did they go? Businesses went out. This is going to happen. All right, guys, as always, I'm going to have to say it one more time. Thank you for our military. Thank you for our law enforcement. Thank you for our first responders. Thank you for our farmers. What else am I forgetting? I know
Truck
Jerry.
drivers.
There you go. Jerry's got it.
Yep.
And he's not on the show as much. What else do I say? I'm going to say it. Is he going to call him out? People that are working. Thank you for the people that are working and not collecting checks. There, Jose
Thank
will
you,
get
guys.
that. He's not on the show as much. He's been on once. Are you not
Twice.
listening to the podcast?
I'm hungry.
Actually, he is. He's hungry. He's getting low blood sugar. I'll feed him dinner in a little bit. All right, guys, thank you. Go to my website, www.just-common sense. God bless you. God bless America. Hug that American flag. Don't get around that American flag. Remember, one nation under God. Trump hugs that flag. Definitely a good thing. I know the Cartoon News Network made a joke about it. Well, guess what? They wanted all the flags removed. Not going to happen. This is America, pal, and that's it. Love you guys. Have a great night, and thanks for everything. Take care. Bye.